right, so hopefully, again, you're following along on your own document here. Again, you could write on a piece of paper if that's easier for you. I know I enjoy writing on a piece of paper than trying to type it up, but however you want to. So live Zoom meeting expectations, quiet area away from distractions. Looks like you guys all have that. All usual crazy expectations apply. Curious, responsible, accountable, zero quitting, and it all starts with you. School appropriate language and behavior. Keep the microphone muted. We already talked about that. Type questions into chat. So again, you can verbally ask a question if you type in capital M and we'll unmute you, or you can type in chat during this. All right, let us get it going. So here's our review, Math 7, that's you guys. Review for the CFA. Okay, what you'll see on the CFA, 1-step, 2-step, using distributed property as well. That ties in with 1 and 2-step, or 2-step. All right, so let us do this first one together. For 1-step, we've got 3 different examples, or practice problems, let's say. So on this first one here, we've got x plus 12 equals 43. Okay, if we wanted to solve that, we, again, ask ourselves, what's the inverse operation? We say, what's the opposite? Well, I noticed that x over here is there's being 12 added to x. So then we say, okay, well, what's the inverse of that? What's the opposite of adding 12? Oh, it's going to be subtracting 12, right? So we say, okay, I can do that. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of my equation. And again, if we think of it as like a scale, and this is going to be pretty rough because I'm drawing with the map, so bear with me here. Okay, kind of a wonky slanted scale. But if we have a scale, we know that it's going to stay even. Or if you've seen people lift weights, they have the same amount on each side, right? But if you all of a sudden have weight removed from one side, if we subtracted 12 from one side, our scale would go and shift, right? So it wouldn't be equal. We wouldn't be saying the truth. So in order to keep saying the truth, in order to keep it true, we need to do the same thing to both sides. All right, so subtract 12 from both sides. That makes 12 and negative 12 cancel out. So we just have an x plus 0. Our equal sign comes down. It's never going to go away. And 43 minus 12 is going to be 31. All right, and then of course, adding 0, does that really do anything? No. So x is equal to 31. Okay. And from our notes, just a reminder, the best thing, not the best thing, a nice thing about solving equations is you never have to get them wrong. Oops. You can always take your answer and plug it back in, substitute it back into the start to see if you got it right. So you could say 31 plus 12. Oh yeah, that is 43. Okay, so I know I got this right. Okay, any questions on that so far?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
If you were sharing their screen, are they able to use their Google slideshow?
If it is not taking up their whole screen, I think it should. You guys,
because for me, it's taking up my entire screen. I can't see anything but your screen.
Okay. Will it let you not minimize, but like restore down?
Only
Soon?
No, it doesn't. So I think what we have to do is, instead of sharing the whole screen, just share an application. So it should let you click on OneNote, and then
let me try that again.
If anyone sees differently, you should type that in the chat.
You can press escape to exit. Oh, okay. And does that that doesn't zoom out, but it just
yeah. Does that allow you to see the screen? Oh, you see both. Okay.
So let's try that again. I think it'll be the same whether I do one note or not. Let me know if the pressing escape thing doesn't work. All right.
Okay,
so,
that worked for me.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Good job. Already killing it. Starting off strong.
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of scaffold this. So this one we did all together. This one we're gonna maybe do part way. Okay, and then I'll have you guys try that last one. Okay, so the main thing we do when we want to solve for x or get an equation solved is we want to isolate the variable, right? We want to get x by itself. And this is where you're going to respond. You can type in the chat. What's the question that we asked ourselves? We say, what's blank to x? What's blank to x? What do we mean by that? Okay. So any of you guys have that answer to that question? You can type it in the chat now. What do we ask ourselves? We say, we want to know what is what to x.
What is what?
Right.
I think I'm confused by your question.
Sorry, your chat is distracting. Hold on. Okay, so, all right, we ask ourselves what is being done to x, right? That's what we just said on the last problem. What is being done to x, right? So, what is being done to x? And that's the last, I can't give you any more. What is being done to x, guys, currently? Again, you can type in the chat for your answer. What is being done to x?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Anybody? No wrong answers, no penalty.
That's one way you can put it. There's other ways.
Yeah. All right, so we're trying to find, good. Yeah, so our goal is to find what x is, right? To isolate x, get it by itself. Good, I got several saying x, -11 is being added to x. That's exactly right. Good job, guys. And another way we could say this is a -11. So we could say adding -11, or we could really say this is taking away 11 from x, right? Because it's a negative. So either way you want to say it, taking away 11 from x or adding -11 is what's being done. Okay, so then we say, wait, all right, now what's the inverse of that? What's the opposite? So opposite of subtracting 11 would be adding 11, right? So I want you guys to finish this out. But before you finish this out, I need another quick chat answer. Why am I adding this to both sides? Why can't I just add 11 over here to get rid of this -11? Why am I doing that? Good. Good, looking for a few more, good. All right. Yeah, all those are correct, guys. So we're trying to keep it balanced, exactly, right? If we only take away, or if we add 11 to one side, then it's not balanced. We're saying a lie, basically, right? We're saying these two things are equal, but then if we take away some from this side, it's not equal. Good. All right, finish out this problem. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds or less and see if you can complete yours and see what answer you get. All right, so go ahead and do that now. I'll pause the share. Nice.
Got a lot of people in here. This is awesome.
Yeah. Good job. Julius Caesar came back from the dead. He's
just for this chat. That's nice of him.
I know.
Is that Julia? That's got to be Julia.
Nice.
Maybe.
About 10 more seconds. All right. All right, let's see what you guys got. So, switch my colors up here. All right, so this negative 11, and adding 11, that's going to cancel out, right? We've got a negative 11, positive 11, that makes 0. Plus x, we're leaving that there. We haven't touched it, so it needs to come down. Same with the equal sign. And then 36 plus 11 is going to be 47, right? And if you're like, Mr. E, why are you putting plus 0? We know that doesn't do anything. Well, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Okay. So our answer is going to be x equals 47. Okay. And final question here. If I need to check, if I'm like taking a test or CFA, wink, wink, like we're going to do here in a sec, how can I make sure I get this correct? What's the easy way to make sure I can get this question correct? And again, if you're just joining us, you can chat the answer. I don't know where mine went. You do the problem again, or subtract 11. Okay. That's one way as well.
Yeah, pretty much when you subtract 11, what you're doing is what we are asking for. You're plugging that back into the original equation.
Yeah, exactly.
You're combining that or adding that with a negative 11.
Yeah. So you take this, whatever your answer is, right? And you say, I think this is the answer. I think that's what x is. Well, how can I be sure? You substitute it back in. And you say, okay, like you guys were saying, you can say 47, okay, plus negative 11, or 47 take away 11, and that gives me 36. Oh, okay, I got that right. Now, if we plugged in that number and it gave us like 35 or 34 or something instead of 36, we say, uh-oh, I messed up. And then you look for where your error is somewhere. And you just fix it. All right. All right, last one. I want you guys to go ahead and try this guy. This time on your own, and then we will go over it together. All right, and the first question we always ask is, what is being done to x? That's the secret, right? All right, take about a minute. Try and solve for x. If you finish early, you can check your answer.
I like that we have some conflicting answers.
Good. Yeah.
Keep solving it, guys. We'll go over these answers when we give
suspense.
everyone some time.
And again, now that we told you guys the secret, you can check to see if your answer's right. If you plug it back in and it doesn't work, doesn't make a true statement, then you know that you need to go back and change it.
You guys know this chat's recorded, right? Just a quick reminder.
It wasn't a secret. That's true. Checking our answer was not necessarily a secret. To some people, maybe.
I think we're starting to get a consensus here.
Nice. Okay. All right. If you're finishing up, that is A-okay. Again, you can check your answer. Let's see if we got the same thing. Sorry, there we go. All right. So let's choose a fun color here. I'm going to use this rainbow for a sec. All right. So we say, what's being done to x? Well, it's being multiplied by 6, right? If it says 6x, we have 6 x's, or 6 times x. So we say, oh, there's invisible multiply there. So we have to do the inverse of that. And the inverse of multiplying is going to be dividing, right? Which a lot of you guys did, judging by your answers. Divide by 6, that's really hard to see. Right? Choose a different color. All right. Okay, we're going to divide by 6. Divide by 6, and I'm going to use this division symbol since we got these little boxes here. We'll divide both sides by 6. 6 over 6, if you guys remember, like a fraction, is 1 whole, right? Or 6 goes into 6 one time. So that's just going to become 1. And the x is still there, 1 times x. Right? Equal sign stays where it is. It's not going to change. 78 divided by 6, and that should be, what, 13, right?
I believe our students were correct. It is 13.
Nicely done. So then now we've got 1 times x, which is just x, right? So our answer is x is equal to 13. Okay. And those of you that checked it, we take it and we go right here, right? We say, all right, 13 times 6, is that a 78? Oh, yeah, it is, right? 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 3 is 18. So 78. We got it right. Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, you guys did great. All right, let's keep on rolling. Two-step equations. This is the real business right here, right? Things get real. So let's look at this one together and see if you guys are doing okay on two-step equations. All right, this one says 5x plus 7 equals 32. Okay, if we want to solve this, again, we ask ourselves, what is being done to x? What's going on? So if we say, what's being done to x? Well, look, it's being multiplied by 5, and a 7 is being added to it, right? So what is the inverse of that? I want to try to unpack this thing, go backwards. So I say, well, okay, I could get rid of this 7, and then maybe I could get rid of that 5 next. So let's do that. Let's say subtract 7 from this side, subtract 7 from that side, because I have to keep it equal. Right, okay, so 7 minus 7 is then 0. So now this should be 5x equal to 25. Okay, if you want to use these little boxes, you can. You'd say subtract 7. Oops. But a little tricky. All right. So then we did one step, right? That's why it's 2-step, because we did one step, and now we got one more to go to get our answer, right? So what are we going to do, guys? I'll let you guys answer this in the quick chat. What's going to be the opposite of multiplying by 5? Because we got 5 times x here, right? What's going to be the opposite or inverse? I can never get this thing to pop up. Okay, good job, guys. Yep, divide by 5. So, I'm going to switch my color again for my next step. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. 5 over 5 is 1 whole. So this is now x, or 1x, equals 5. What did I do? I divided by 5. And once again, just like one-step equations, we can take this answer, plug it back to our start to get our answer. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 7, that is 32, so I know I got this correct. All right. So, any questions on that first one? If so, you can chat Mr. A and he'll give me a heads up.
Looking good. Looking good.
Good, guys. All right. Then let's go ahead and do scaffold the second one and have you guys finish that one and do the third one on your own. All right. So this one says 3x minus 6 equals negative 18. That's going to be a 2-step equation. So we say what's being done to x, just like we've been doing, right? Well, looks like it's being multiplied by 3 and it's being subtracted by 6, right? So if I want to get x by itself, I'm probably going to start with the one that's a little more removed, a little farther away from the x. So instead of messing with the 3, I'm going to mess with this negative 6 over here. Okay, so the opposite of subtracting 6 is going to be adding 6, right? So I'm going to add 6 to both sides, okay, to make this go away, becomes 0, and now we have 3x is equal to negative 12. Because negative 18 plus 6 is going to be going towards 0. All right. So we did one step, right? We added to get rid of that negative 6, and now we still have a 3x, or a 3 times x. So I want you guys to go ahead and do this second step and see if you can get your answer and check it. All right, so we'll give you guys about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. See if you can do that second step and get your answer. Right, we got some answers coming in. You can keep them coming. We'll see what everybody gets. right. Couple more seconds and we're about to check. Okay. So I'm going to see if you guys got the same thing as me. I see -4s. I see some 4s. Good. So did you get -4? That is the correct answer. Okay. If you got 4, you're close. What probably messed you up is right in here. When you divide a negative number by a positive number, there's 2 terms there, right? There's a -12 term and there is a 3 term. So this one's negative and this one's a positive. So that's an odd number of negative terms, so your answer is going to be a negative. That's how we know this is -4. Okay, so good job. A lot of you guys either got it or were super duper close. Very good. And again, we can check ourselves, right? -4 times 3 is -12. -6 takes us further into the negative, so that's -18. Okay, we got it right. All right, excellent work. Last one for two-step equations. And then we just have 2 distribution, because those are a little easier, but it's just making sure we can distribute. All right, this one, you're on your own. Yo-yo. Go ahead and try this one. It'll take a couple minutes. And you're probably going to use a calculator, right? Depending. Maybe this works out nicely. Not too big of numbers. And see what you guys get for x. Okay, once again, ask what's being done to x and do the opposite. Do the inverse operation. All right, have at it. Good luck. And you can respond with your answer once you think you got it. Nice. Nice suspense. Yeah, I was thinking you looked a little unwell there, Diego. Hate to hear that. Put on my thinking cap. Good, we got one answer coming in, a couple others on the way. Okay, about 20 seconds or so, 20, 30 seconds. You guys are doing great. Takes time. Alrighty. Thank you. Put on my thinking cap. Good. If you get your answer, you can go ahead and post it in the chat, see if you got the same thing, something different. One way to do it that you could is just use a piece of paper and pencil. And just try the problems, write the problem and then try it. But like Mr. A was saying earlier, you could also click make a copy and then you'll be able to write on it. But personally, I just use a piece of paper if you have one.
She said she already tried to make a copy.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and check this one and see if you guys got it. All right, if you're not fully done, that's okay. You can be finishing as we check. All right, so, oops. All right, so if we're going to get our answer here, we say what's being done to x? Well, it looks like it's being multiplied by a -3 over here, and over here, 1.8 is being added to it. So I got to do inverse operations. Again, I'm going to start with, usually I'm going to start with the one that's a little farther away from the x. So I could mess with this 3, but it's a little tied up close with the x, so I'll start with this guy. So the opposite, or the inverse of adding 1.8 is going to be subtracting 1.8. No big deal. We got this. So we say minus 1.8 from both sides. This goes away, and now we have -3x equal to, that's going to be 2.7. No, 2.7. You can check me there. All right. Hopefully you guys got that for your first step. Again, and the reason I'm making this caveat, you could do it the other way. You could divide everything first. It's just going to be pretty messy. Okay. But when you get to high school, you'll probably do that a little bit more. All right. So we did our first step. Now all I need to do is my inverse operation once again. What's the opposite of multiplying by -3? Oh, that's going to be dividing by -3, isn't it? So divide by -3. Have to do it to both sides. Always, 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 always. You'll never change one side of an equation, ever. So that's something you can rest assured is like, oh, okay, equations will always work this way. No matter how crazy they look now or in the future, you always have to do the same thing to both sides. All right, -3 over -3 is 1 whole, so now this becomes x. And again, a negative divided by a negative is a positive because there's an even number of terms. And over here, we've got a positive term and a negative term. Uh-oh, that's an odd number of negative terms. So my answer has to be a negative. Okay, positive divided by negative is going to be a negative. And then we say 2.7 divided by 3. Let's see. Use my enormously giant calculator somehow. Okay, 2.3 divided by 3. And we get did I do that right? Or let's try that again. 2.7, sorry. Hopefully your calculator doesn't open as big as mine. 2.7 divided by 3. Okay. So you should get 0.9. Right, so you should get -0.9. -0.9, or if you'd like to put -0.9, you could do that too. But that's going to be our solution. It's going to be our answer. Okay, so we subtracted by 1.8, and we divided by -3. Alrighty. Do you have any questions? This one seemed to stump maybe some of you guys a little bit more. So you can type an M if you want to unmute and ask a full question, or just use the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys didn't get lost in this one. Same steps, right? 2 steps. And then just use a calculator, I would. I just did 2.7 divided by 3 gives you 0.9. Questions? How about this? I'm going to try one other thing. Okay. There's like a little thumbs up thing somehow. I forgot to do that. I think, it's the reactions. Give a thumbs up if you're doing okay on your little. Nice. Good. Alrighty, guys. Good. So the last thing I'm going to do, there's only 2 of these. We'll do the first one together. Okay. And then I'll have you guys do the other one by yourself. And then we'll be ready.
Give thumbs up.
-2.
Nice. So, all right, distribution. It's not any harder than what we've been doing. It's just another piece of the puzzle. So if we had this problem and it said -2, parentheses x plus 4, close parentheses equals 12, we could say, all right, how do I get x by itself? That's still our goal, right? Well, we can start doing the opposite, or inverse to x. If we wanted to, we could do it that way. So we would divide this 2 first. But we're trying to learn how to distribute. We're going to try to say, okay, how do I multiply this 2 into these guys?
Okay.
So if you're distributing, anytime you have something out front of parentheses and it's multiplying like this, you have to multiply it by every term inside. Okay, guys? Just a reminder there. Remember we said, does it matter? And you can nod your head or shake your head no to this. Does it matter how many terms are inside of the parentheses? Like, am I going to multiply by only 2 if there's 4 terms inside? Or 6 terms? What if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms inside? Do I multiply by all of them, or do I not multiply by all of them? Thumbs up if you think multiply by all of them, or thumbs down if you think you always just multiply by the first 2 terms. So if there was 5 terms in here, you would multiply by all 5. Okay, if there was 4 terms, all 4. Here we only have 2 terms, so we multiplied by all 2. Okay, so -2 times x. Let's see what we get. So this is saying -2.
2 times x, that's -2 still.
And -2 times 4. I'm going to write this. This is my work here. Equal signs here in the middle. 12 we haven't touched. Okay, so we could say -2 times x. That's going to be -2x. It's just multiplying, just kind of smushed together. And the way I would say this, guys, is -2 times +4. So a negative times a positive is going to be a negative. So that's the symbol I put here. Negative times a positive, yeah, is a negative. So then -8 or -8, same thing. Okay. So that's our first step. You distribute, we say -2 times x is -2x. -2 times +4 is -8. So I put -8. Okay, and now, easy, you do a 2-step equation. Okay, so we say, what's being done to x? Well, it's being multiplied over here, it's being subtracted over there, like we just did. So since we just did one of these, I'm going to move quick here.
+8.
And you can always look back at this later if you need to. -8, add 8, cancels out.
20.
So -2x equals, good. I heard someone say it, 20.
So.
Okay. Let's see. Steps we distributed. Not a diss track. We distributed. And then we added 8. Added 8. All right, and then the last step is dividing by -2. Right. Divide by -2. Divide by -2. That cancels to be one whole, so we have 1x, or just x, equals 20 divided by 2 is 10, right? And then a positive divided by negative, let's see, that's a positive divided by negative, that's an odd number of negative terms, right? Just one negative term. One negative term. So my answer has to be a negative. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, so, and I can make sure I got that right because -10 plus 4 is -6. And then -6 times -2 is then going to be +12. All right. Let you catch up there if you're drawing that down. And if you are already finished, you can go ahead and start on that last one, okay? Last problem, guys. You guys are doing great. Just see if you can solve that last distribution problem on your own. Okay, and then we'll check our answer and we'll have you guys take the little CFA. Okay. Good. Okay. If you need me to scroll back, I can. But go ahead and try this last one so I can answer any questions you guys have and you guys can take the CFA. All right, take about a minute. For this one, let's say about 3 minutes or so. To get your answer, a minute, that's a minute for each step, should be plenty. And then you can chat your answers if you think you got it. Off the terms. Gives thumbs up. Nice. So. Okay, about a minute and a half more, and then probably gonna have Mr. A pop in here and go over this last one. Or not. It's all good. It's okay. He's going to be heading up our next lesson, okay, on Wednesday. So that way you won't be like, Mr. E, lame. We want to see Mr. A. He's cool. That's intense. Sorry, I was reading about the garage.
You guys are going to love our access code for the CFA.
Okay. Nice. Solid. Alrighty. Thank you for that as well. All right. If you're not quite done, that's okay. You can mute me if you want so you don't get any spoilers. No spoiler alert, Mr. E. But otherwise, let's go ahead and go over this last one so you guys can get crack-a-lackin' and show your stuffs. All right. So once again, we got distribution. Hopefully you guys said, all right, I'm going to try to distribute this thing first. Okay, so we have this 3. Anything outside of parentheses, we're going to multiply in, right? To however many terms there are. Each term is separated by addition or subtraction. So on this one, we only have 2 terms, once again. We got the 2x and the -3. So we'll multiply. 3 times 2x is 6x. And I'm kind of skipping steps here, but that's okay. I'm just not showing it. 3 times 2x, 6x, right? And 3 times -3 is -9. Equal sign in the middle, 21 over here. Okay, and then now it's a 2-step equation. You can add 9 to both sides. Okay, because we're trying to say what's the opposite, what's the inverse. Okay, add 9, add 9. This is going to make this go to 0. And so now we should have 6x is equal to 30. See if you guys got these steps correct. And then the last step is dividing both sides by 6. So divide by 6, divide by 6. 6 over 6 is 1 whole. So now I have just 1x, aka x, equals positive divided by positive. Oh, that's just going to be positive. That's good. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So there's my answer. Now, for all you quick mathers, you can plug this back up here, right? Well, whether you're quick or not. But right now we could say, okay, 5 times 2 is 10. Minus 3 is 7. So this whole thing in the parentheses is just a 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Yeah, that's true. So I know for sure that I have this correct. Okay, so any final questions on this? If you need to chat a question, do that. Or if you type in an M, we'll unmute you so you can ask. Nice. All right.
I put it in the chat box, but guys, just make sure to check your answers on the CFA. If you plug in the answer that you found into the original equation and it comes out that it's not equal to the whatever's on the other side of the equal sign, you know that you did something wrong. And it could be something simple, could be something like a wrong step. You can try the problem again, but usually you'll find that it is correct, and just make sure to be checking your answers.
Yeah, the easy way to make sure you know what you got on the test. CFA. So, all right, have at it, guys. I'm gonna post the link here again, and you can go ahead and take it. Do your best. Wish you all the luck. You guys are doing great. Good to see so many faces. Stay well. Hang in there. Drink lots of fluids, Diego. Get sleep. Vitamin C.
Ooh, good question, Canyon. If you don't have science, then I don't think you have anything to do for the next hour.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think they'll have a 10 a.m. class. Good question.
Lucky Canyon. He gets to spend all the time he wants taking the CFA. Hey, Amy.
Hi.
Yeah, and I will say this, guys, if you do have a next class, you can take the CFA, at least for me, you can take the CFA later, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
With that. Like if you want to take the CFA at 11 or noon, that's fine. Okay.
Yep. And if you need the link, it is posted in Google Classroom. I'm sure Mr. E will post that if it's not already.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Get a new Band-Aid. We're probably going to be continuing to join our classes just because it is really effective to have two teachers like this. We can get some different opinions. We can have people watching the chat box. Yeah, you can leave, Pablo. So you guys did awesome today. Thank you. And thank you to everyone that was on time. I'm sure everyone was trying, or you got the email late.
Mr. A.
Yeah.
So if I have science, do I do science right now and then do I do the test later?
Yeah, you can do the CFA later.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Why you hang up? Why you hang up?
Yep, you guys are welcome to go to your next classes or your CFA. We're going to be here
Chilling in the chat
till everyone leaves. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks for your comments.
Prive gouging. Don't be prive gouging, Diego.
Selling hand. Nice.
Bye, guys.
1 ounce, $50. Bye, Diego. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
John Tay left. Hi, Amulet. Do you have science? Yeah. How about you, Amy? Do you have science?
I have English after this. After this. Yeah.
That's odd.
It is.
I thought everyone had the same.
Wait.
Yeah, you might want to double check that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all 7th graders have science next. I could be wrong, but might want to double check.
Yeah.
Is your second period when we have normal school, is your second period English?
No.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I do have science.
what the? You do have science? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, does that start at 10:15?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any questions about the the CFA or solving equations or anything?
Not really.
Okay.